So this is what I've been up to. Before I get inside, I want to show you what I'm working on out here. I had a small pipe that comes up, and it came up level with the side of the tin. Started putting some soot out there, so we stopped that real quick. And I went and got me a larger piece today. Went ahead and put my cap on it. It's been laying out here frozen. I'm going to go ahead and get that put up right quick, and then we'll jump to the inside, and then I'll show you what I'm working with and show you if it works or not. So this is what I've built. I actually didn't even know about this design until I talked to my buddy Whisper, which you all have been to his garage and you've seen it. His is a much larger scale. It is a little bit taller, I believe. It may not be taller, but I think his garage is taller than mine, so he does require a little more heat. This is called a smudge pot. You just pour your oil in there, get your fire lit. You're not dripping oil into it. So what is in there is what is in there, and you control the heat with the trap door. I've got the heat from that, trying to maintain this place, but it's pretty rough on it, considering how cold it is outside. But anyways, that comes down to about middle of this pipe, and the hot air rushes up, hits that with some clean air, and it recirculates and it stirs the air up. And then, I mean, obviously use a lot of heat or lose a lot of heat out the top, but it is what it is. I had to stop with it last night and just rely on the little Amazon heater. The little pipe I had that come out the back and up didn't quite clear the tin. You've seen the black on it already. So I took it off and I had it just 90'd out. Well, the air was shoving back in. I would walk outside and there'd be a puff of black, another puff of black, and then all of a sudden it'd suck in. But it was pushing smoke out of these vents every time it would, catch air. Hopefully that 5-foot piece or whatever I put on outside is enough to get the heat up high enough to clear that, so that it doesn't get too smoky in here. Now this is a waste oil heater, so that's what all that is. I'm gonna give you a walk around it quick, show you what this thing is doing. Now, it is insulated. It isn't finished on the back from about that line up. That's probably a good guess. No, from about right there up. It doesn't have the wood on it, but it's just one layer of insulation, one layer up there, and a gaping vent right here. Now, this garage is 23 foot wide. It's a little over 10 foot from there to the ground. And that is just one layer up there. So let's get you a temperature reading. We're 30 degrees. Yeah, 29. Let me get outside real quick and show you what we have out here. Now, I have had this open for about the last half an hour, which is why it's so cold in here. See if we can get where you can see this. 4 degrees. That's what we're working with today. That's why it's so hard to get this thing to cool down, or to heat up. But for it to be 4 degrees outside, 32 there. Let's get a look at the motor right quick. 34. Yeah, it was actually like in the 40s, but like I said, I had that open, and I actually had a bungee cord holding it up out of the way so that I can go in and out, fixing and grabbing what I needed to grab. So, enough of that. I'm gonna get a fire started in this. I did bend my little vents out right in there, and hopefully we can get a little more airflow. I've been aiming the heat off of the exhaust to that pot, trying to make it work so it isn't hard, or so it isn't so hard to start. Because that oil is cold. It does take a few minutes to get that warm, enough to kind of get the oil burning. That is a little bit of paper and ash you see on top floating. Evidently it has already started down here at the bottom. Now what I did, I got the paper lit, I run the torch right here, trying to get the tank a little hotter. It'll start vaporizing that oil. Once the oil starts to burn, then you can close the hatch and control the amount of heat. There is a little bit of flame you can see every once in a while up in the chimney there. So we are getting a little bit of oil burning. That paper will have already run out. We'll give this just a few minutes and then I'll show you how warm it is in here, if it's even helping at all, and then how to control it. Now the oil is actually starting. You can actually see how it's blowing right here in the middle when you zoom in. See how it's pumping air back into that oil, swirling that around? That is exactly how this starts. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna close the air down a little bit, if I can, without getting my face blow apart. See, so now we've regulated the airflow, which I'm gonna shut it down some more because it's chooching. But the airflow is sucking in clean air there, throwing it around the recirculation. So I can shut this off down here a little more. We should be able to get a steady flame. And when this thing burns down, you'll see like a little heat line down here. When the oil gets down here, it starts getting low, it starts getting a little hotter and hotter and hotter. You can open that vent up down here and add more to it. You just gotta be careful and watch what you're doing so you don't spill it everywhere, because you don't want to fire it. That's on the outside, that is. We'll give this thing just a few more minutes. I mean, it's been less than 2 minutes since we first started this thing. I'm gonna leave this running for a little while, but we're gonna get an accurate reading of what kind of temperature this thing can put off, and what the overall temperature does in here, considering it's only 4 degrees outside. That little $100 heater there has kept me in the 40s and 50s up until today. It's obviously just not enough considering that. So far I've only put 2 quarts in this, around 2 quarts for this little test. I didn't want to put too much in it in case I did have to smother this out. I didn't want a whole lot of oil in it, but this thing is doing fairly well. It's chooching a little bit. I don't know if I need more airflow or a little less. If I give it more airflow, it made it worse. So let's shut that down a little bit. That's still chooching a little bit. I'm gonna turn around and show you. It's I don't know what exactly my problem is. If it needs to be chilled out, a little less air, a little more air there, I don't really know. This thing's putting off some tremendous heat down there at the bottom. .500 degrees. Check that pole out. We're getting a little warm on that pole. I don't like that pole getting that warm, but I'll figure that out. I'll have to do some more work here, or maybe at least turn that fan on, which that fan's a little too much for this. The 10, 145 right there, still 145, 126, 430 degrees in the pipe. We got a lot of fire. Wow, 536 right in through there. Let's get a reading. You know, I don't have any air blowing on the motor. 53, is that right? Pretty sure that motor was like 32, 34 degrees a little bit ago when I checked. Should not have raised that fast. I guess it has. Well, just with no airflow, just the radiant heat's already raised my motor 20 degrees, which is the most important thing to me in the garage right now. Let's just get some temperature readings. The farther away we get, the colder it's going to get, obviously, and there's no actual airflow. That was 30 a minute ago. So we've already raised 15 degrees in here just from turning that on. You know, this is not sealed up. When I'm done going back and forth in here, I'll screw that solid to keep it from flopping as bad. But to know that we've already raised that, you know, 15 degrees is a lot when it's 4 degrees outside. So we're just gonna keep playing with it. Right now it's not smoky in here. It was smoking in here terrible last night when I didn't have the big tall chimney on it. Let's get in the very peak of the rafter, 47. I mean, it's doing very well. It's only had about 2 quarts in it, so I'm gonna have to add some more in it shortly. I have not put any diesel in it, that is for that. And if you've looked online, you do not put waste oil in those. Glad I didn't, because I was really wanting to. So let's walk out back, look at that chimney right quick, and let's see how clean it's burning or smoky. I don't know. We're gonna find out what it's doing. Wow, it's burning fairly clean. There's where it was smoky. Extended up there. It's obviously burning very clean. Done a little double wall there with some extremely thick header wrap. That was made for like equipment. I did put a screw in that first strap holding the tension up for weight. Done that in a manner that once that ice melts, I can come out here and put a couple more screws in it and get it tighter. I've never done this stuff before, so it's kind of a temporary deal. I'll learn as I go and figure it out. But I'm very happy that it's not chooching a big bunch of cloud out of it. And that's what I was talking about. I hadn't finished. I ran out of some shiplap and was going to stain it, and then, you know, God decided that this needed to happen now. But let's go back inside real quick and try to add some more oil to it. So I've spent the last 25 or 30 minutes shoveling the driveway. This is the first time I've actually walked away from this and just let it do its own thing for a while. It's still not smoky in here. I did turn that on, and there's a reason for that. I found that fan out here that Ariel left. It doesn't really move air. I don't know what the point of that thing is, but the other fan, which is in front of me right here, is just way too violent, even turned all the way down. It's trying to blow the stuff on the walls. It's just too much. But we're not gaining a lot of temperature in the area. Let me turn this around and show you. Like I said, the reason I turned that on is just, I mean, it does throw out heat, but it recirculates and kind of keeps the air moving. Now, this pot is very hot. Stovepipe, which wasn't that hot a minute ago, but whatever. You know, we're 300, 400 degrees. Oh, shoot, right there. We're 200 or so, give or take. Temperature on the wall is around 90. Kind of hard to focus and do this. But, generally speaking, this area is very warm. Motor, or the intercooler is 50, 54, something like that. Motor's 50 degrees. I did go ahead, throw that piece of wood back up. The tarp, 40 degrees. You know, like I said, it's 4 to 5 degrees outside, so this is a tremendous thing to do with it just having a tarp for a door. Now, Whisper has a fan right there, so what I'm going to try to do is get me a box fan in that area and blowing down at an angle. Something with, you know, not a whole lot of force, but enough to circulate the heat. And that may be enough that I can get away from using that so much. Because right now it's ran for a week straight. The only time it stopped was this morning. It ran out of fuel. I threw a couple gallon in it or whatever it holds, topped it off, and it's been running up until a little bit ago for the test on this. Now so far I've put about a gallon of oil in this, and it's ran for quite a while now, probably an hour. But like I said, the point of that stovepipe was to keep it from being so smoky in here. Jared and a few other people chimed in and told me the chimney needed to be higher, which Dad said that from the get-go, but I wanted to hear opinions from multiple people before I went out and bought more pipe. Is a smudge pot right for you? I don't know. Would an oil drip be a better source of heat or more efficient? Then again, I don't know, because right now, if I didn't have that little heater on, it wouldn't matter. That would burn on its own. That is portable. I can also take the chimney top off of it and take it to the racetrack with me, which I'm planning on doing. All I gotta do is just pull the stove pipe up a little bit, like an inch, and then I can pull the wheel out from under it, pull the heater out, and take it with me. Doesn't rely on any electrical fans, no nothing. It's self-contained, which is the reason I wanted to do the smudge pot instead of the oil drip, which, you know, I could put a container right there, run a line down. I could do that, but this is, I mean, it's 500 degrees and there's no fan on it. There's nothing going. I mean, if I had a little something circulate some air in here, yeah, I think it'd be better. But even if I had a oil drip, you still have to have some kind of fan circulating the heat around, because it's just going to be contained the same way this one is. So, and that 4x4, after this long, let me turn around and show you right quick. 110 degrees. 120 degrees. That is a little hot on that. I got some more outside corner pieces of tin. I may run it from there to like somewhere in this range to at least protect some of that. And I have another piece of tin. I'm probably going to close that little gap up right there just to make it even and kind of maintain more of that heat against the wall away from it. Now, this is the part where you tell me what you would have done different. Something I could maybe make this better. I like efficiency. If we can make this thing more efficient and you have an idea, maybe you've done it or seen it done or have a family member or something that's done it, let me know. I was curious about having more holes in here, but I can't find, if I can get there. I was curious about putting more holes in there, but I can't find any information that tells me if I should or not. I obviously don't want to put holes in it and then have to plug them back. But thank you for watching if you've watched this long. Hopefully we don't burn the garage down. See you next time.